comfortable are you giving negative feedback to your boss? Are you honest enough to tell them when they're not showing up the way they need to? Speaking up and calling out others is always delicate, and it can be especially challenging when the person you're calling out has the power to either propel or stall your career. If you have ever held back from giving feedback to your boss because you were worried about how it could affect your career, you're going to want to watch this video. Hi, my name is Dr. Alessandra Wall. I am the founder and the principal executive coach at Noteworthy. Noteworthy actually specializes in supporting, elevating, accelerating the careers of leading women in finance and in STEM. Noteworthy women are directors, managing directors, executive vice presidents, C-suite leaders. And one of the things that they learn very quickly is that the higher up you are, the more important it is to have the skills and the courage to call out your leaders when they're not showing up the way they need to. Managing up is actually a skill that you need at every stage of your career. The more senior you are, the more people count on you, the more important it is to know how to speak to your bosses about their responsibilities and their shortcomings. I'm actually often asked by noteworthy women to help them script out difficult conversations, both with their direct reports and their bosses. The fact is, I am good at handling delicate situations. Before opening Noteworthy, I was a clinical psychologist for nearly 20 years. And if there's one thing that you learn to do really, really well as a psychologist, it's sitting with discomfort, mastering conflict, and sharing hard truths with others to help them. So in this video, I'm going to share 3 strategies to call your boss out without costing you your career. The first thing you need to keep in mind when you're giving feedback to anybody, and especially when you're giving feedback to somebody who has power over you, is to always start with diplomacy. It's easy to want to call someone out when you see them behaving in ways that are negatively impacting you or others, but walking into your supervisor's office and outlining all the ways that they're messing up is never a good idea. And it guarantees at best a shutdown from them, and at worst some kind of retaliation. Instead, consider starting with a softer, or what I would like to call a more diplomatic approach, one that's based on the desire to connect and the intent to create a positive and swift resolution of whatever issue is bothering you. One of the easiest ways to slip into your diplomatic mindset is to approach people with the assumption that they're doing the best they can with what they have. And that is my second strategy. Whatever you need to address with your boss, whatever's going on, start by assuming that they're doing the best they can with whatever they have. You might know for a fact that they're not, because toxic bosses are everywhere. But actually framing your conversation in these terms will allow you to gently confront a problem and avoid massive, massive pushback. The third strategy all noteworthy women are taught is to ask questions first. Specifically, they learn to address the behaviors and issues they want to call out through questions first, rather than statements. Let me show you how this works. Imagine this scenario. During your one-on-one with your boss, you share one concern about a key project and 2 great solutions to address that concern. A week later, you're in an all-teams meeting and your boss mentions the concerns and the solutions, but never credits you for the insight. Here's what not to do. First of all, don't pretend it didn't happen. Don't ignore the behavior. And whatever you do, don't let anybody ever rob you of your visibility and of your recognition, especially as a woman. Visibility is the number 1 factor associated with advancement. So it's really important that others understand what you bring to the table and what impact you're making for the team, a project, or the organization. The second thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to go out and talk about it to a friendly colleague or an ally without addressing it with your boss. And of course, the third thing I don't want you to do is to set up a meeting and confront your boss about their behavior without any context. Because best case scenario, it was an honest mistake. And confronting your boss in this way, you're just going to shame them, and you're potentially going to put them on the defensive and make them uncomfortable with you. Worst case scenario, they did it knowingly, right? Toxic boss. And confronting them is only going to give them more opportunity and more ammo to sabotage your career. Instead, try putting our 3 noteworthy strategies together. So first, you're going to start with diplomacy. Then you're going to assume best intentions. And thirdly, you're going to confront with questions. Here's what it looks like. Hi, Mike, do you have a minute? Great. I wanted to say thank you for bringing my concerns and my solutions to the team meeting today. See, we're assuming best intentions. I'm glad the response was so favorable, and I'm really looking forward to collaborating with Sean and Jonique on this project. I was wondering, however, how in the future I might approach sharing those insights myself. After all, you shouldn't be responsible for speaking for me, and I would love to grow my visibility and presence with the team. Do you see how that works? First of all, by thanking him, I'm starting with that positive assumption, the assumption that he did this and he did it without realizing that he was co-opting my ideas. And then by making it clear that I want to own my projects and I want to speak up to myself because, among other things, it's a potential extra responsibility for him, I'm trying to address the conflict very diplomatically, show him the whole value in letting me speak up for myself. But I'm not doing that without being clear about what's in it for me, gaining visibility and growing my presence with the team. And then finally, notice how instead of telling him, hey, you did this, I asked him how I could do it in the future. There are 1,000 different ways of doing this, given any situation that you have to deal with. And of course, it won't always work. And if it doesn't work, you're going to need to move into a slightly more direct approach. But honestly, that's another strategy for another day. For now, I want you to think about the delicate situations and tricky issues that you're struggling to address with your leader. And I'm going to make an offer. If you share them in the comments, I'll get back to you with a quick script to address them. The last thing before I say goodbye today is I want to remind you that great power comes with great responsibility. As a leader, you owe it to every single person who works with you or for you to step up and have difficult conversations, even if those difficult conversations are with your boss, and even if they make you incredibly uncomfortable. If you're an executive woman, a leader in STEM or finance, and you're looking to level up your leadership, to step into your authority, to build impact, to build influence, and to have a wildly successful career that's also deeply fulfilling, know that Noteworthy is currently accepting new clients, and you can apply for a strategy call today. I, for one, would love to talk to you.